Listen carefully. Most men spend their entire lives trying to control the world, yet they never gain control over themselves. This silent mistake destroys more potential than failure ever could. And today I will reveal why true power never begins outside of you. At the Shaolin Temple, we learn something rarely spoken in modern life. External victory without inner discipline leads only to emptiness. History shows that the strongest warriors were never ruled by anger, desire, or fear. They trained their minds with greater intensity than their bodies. This is the hidden foundation of mastery. In this video, you will learn why mastering impulses is more important than mastering skills. You will understand how emotional control becomes a weapon sharper than strength. You will discover why ego quietly sabotages progress, and how ancient Shaolin discipline dismantles it step by step. These lessons were never designed for comfort. They were designed for survival, clarity, and inner authority. Few people realize that Shaolin training was never about fighting others. It was about defeating distraction, impatience, and uncontrolled thought. The monks who endured decades of training were not chasing power. They were removing weakness. When the inner world became calm and stable, the outer world lost its power to shake them. Stay until the end, because this is not motivation. This is instruction rooted in centuries of tested wisdom. Every principle you hear can be applied immediately, regardless of age or circumstance. The final insight may challenge everything you believe about strength and success. Welcome to the Limitless Shaolin. This channel exists to guide those who seek self-mastery through discipline, mindfulness, and ancient wisdom. Subscribe now and begin the path where power is earned from within. Silence often reveals more than movement. I am Sai Heng Yi, and I have seen many men mistake noise for strength and motion for power. In the Shaolin tradition, stillness is never empty. It is full of awareness, full of readiness. When a monk stands unmoving, the body is calm, but the mind is awake, observing every breath, every sensation, every shift in the moment. In training, we were taught to pause before action, not because we feared movement, but because we respected timing. A rushed response exposes the mind. An emotional reaction reveals attachment. Stillness, on the other hand, creates space. In that space, wisdom enters. The moment between stimulus and response is where mastery lives. Most people never experience it. They allow habit and impulse to decide for them. I remember long hours of standing meditation, legs burning, thoughts screaming for escape. The body wanted to move, the mind wanted relief. Stillness demanded discipline. Over time, something changed. Discomfort no longer controlled action. Emotion no longer dictated behavior. The pause became natural. Calm replaced urgency. Shaolin teachings reveal that stillness is not retreat. It is strategic presence. A still mind sees clearly. A clear mind chooses correctly. When anger arises, stillness prevents damage. When fear appears, stillness restores balance. The untrained man reacts to life as it happens. The trained man allows life to pass through awareness before acting. Modern life conditions people to respond instantly. Messages demand replies. Opinions demand defense. Pressure demands reaction. This constant movement weakens the spirit. Stillness rebuilds it. When you pause, you reclaim authority over yourself. You stop leaking energy into unnecessary conflict. True readiness is quiet. It does not announce itself. It waits, observes, and moves only when action aligns with purpose. This is why the calm man is often the most dangerous, and the silent mind the most powerful. Comfort promises relief, but it quietly steals strength. In the ancient path, this was understood long before modern distractions existed. Those who mastered life did not seek ease. They sought order. Discipline was not a punishment imposed from outside, but a decision made within. It shaped the day, steadied the mind, and protected attention from being scattered. In the monastery, every action had its place. Waking before sunrise, training at the same hour, eating with awareness, resting without excess. At first, this structure felt restrictive. The mind resisted. It wanted freedom, variety, escape. Yet over time, Something unexpected emerged. The mind became lighter. Choices became fewer. Energy stopped leaking into indecision. Self-restraint was never about denial, it was about direction. When desire is unchecked, it pulls the mind in many directions at once. One moment reaching forward, the next looking back. Discipline gathers that energy and points it toward a single path. With fewer distractions, awareness deepens. With fewer impulses, action becomes precise. Ancient teachings understood that chaos is exhausting. A life without rhythm creates constant tension. The mind stays alert, not from clarity, but from anxiety. Routine dissolves this unrest. When the day has form, the mind can rest within it. Peace does not come from avoiding effort, but from removing unnecessary struggle. Discipline also reveals truth. It exposes excuses, weaknesses, and hidden attachments. Each day of consistency strengthens trust in oneself. This trust becomes a quiet confidence, not dependent on mood or circumstance. Inner mastery grows slowly, like a tree whose roots deepen unseen. Clarity arises when the mind no longer negotiates with every impulse. Peace appears when action aligns with intention. Through discipline, freedom stops being an idea and becomes a lived experience, steady and unshaken. Strength is built quietly, far from display. In the ancient teachings, the mind was never treated as something abstract or mysterious. It was trained with the same patience and repetition as the body. Each practice was simple, almost ordinary, yet repeated until it became unbreakable. Focus was not a talent. It was a skill refined over time. Breath became the first teacher, slow, steady, and deliberate. In moments of calm, it taught awareness. In moments of strain, it taught control. By returning attention to the breath again and again, the mind learned to stay instead of fleeing. Presence was no longer forced. It became familiar. Mental conditioning revealed itself most clearly under pressure. When the body tired and discomfort rose, the untrained mind searched for escape. The trained mind observed without judgment. It did not deny pain, but it did not surrender to it either. This difference defined mastery. Pressure no longer felt like an enemy. It became a signal to settle deeper into awareness. Ancient practitioners understood that chaos begins in thought. When thoughts scatter, energy follows. Through consistent practice, attention was gathered and refined. A single task received full presence. A single moment received full awareness. Over time, this sharpened perception. Decisions became clearer. Reactions slowed. Adaptation replaced resistance. When circumstances shifted, the trained mind adjusted without panic. It bent without breaking. This flexibility did not come from comfort, but from familiarity with challenge. The mind that had been tested daily no longer feared difficulty. Consistency mattered more than intensity. Short practices done daily shaped the mind more deeply than rare bursts of effort. Each return to focus strengthened inner stability. Each moment of awareness reinforced calm. Through repetition, the mind learned resilience, and resilience became second nature. The ego speaks loudly, but it rarely speaks truth. In the ancient path, this was one of the first obstacles revealed. Not the body, not the world, but the constant voice demanding recognition. Ego narrows perception. It turns every moment into a test and every interaction into a contest. Through this lens, clarity fades. Those who mastered life learned to observe this voice without obeying it. They noticed how the need to be right hardened the mind, how the need to be seen created tension, how the need to control disrupted balance. Wisdom does not compete. It listens. It weighs. It acts without attachment to applause or approval. In training, mistakes were not hidden or defended. They were acknowledged quietly. There was no benefit in pretending strength. Growth required honesty. The ego resisted this. It feared exposure. Yet each time it loosened its grip, learning accelerated. The mind became lighter, less guarded. Ancient teachings reveal that true strength does not announce itself. It does not need to dominate or impress. When the urge to prove oneself fades, attention turns inward. Energy once wasted on image becomes available for refinement. Action becomes precise. Speech becomes measured. Letting go of ego did not mean becoming passive or weak. It meant becoming accurate. Without the distortion of self-importance, perception sharpened. Feedback was received clearly. Correction was welcomed. Progress became steady. Control, when driven by ego, creates resistance. Control, guided by wisdom, creates stability. Masters of life understood this distinction. They did not seek superiority. They sought alignment. Balance replaced ambition. Purpose replaced comparison. As the ego softened, peace emerged. Not because life became easier, but because struggle against reality ended. Genuine strength grew in this space, quiet and grounded, rooted in truth rather than validation. Discomfort was never considered an enemy on the ancient path. It was approached with respect, even gratitude. While many run from difficulty, Shaolin philosophy stepped directly into it, not to suffer blindly, but to learn. Avoidance weakens the spirit. Endurance sharpens it. Pain carried information. When the body trembled or the breath shortened, it revealed imbalance. Weakness was not judged, it was observed. Through this observation, refinement began. Fear, too, was examined. Each hesitation pointed to an attachment, a place where the mind clung to safety or certainty. By facing it, the grip loosened. Struggle clarified intention. When training became difficult, the question emerged naturally: why continue? The superficial reasons fell away quickly. Pride, image, and comfort could not sustain effort. What remained was purpose. This purpose, once discovered, became a stable foundation. It did not depend on circumstances. Ancient teachings understood that growth without resistance is illusion. Just as metal is strengthened through heat, the mind is tempered through challenge. Hardship slowed movement, forcing awareness into the present moment. Each breath became deliberate, each step intentional. Through struggle, distraction dissolved. Those who mastered life did not glorify suffering, but they did not waste it either. They listened, they learned where patience was lacking, where discipline was weak, where expectation caused pain. Suffering became a mirror rather than a punishment. Over time, discomfort lost its power to intimidate. It became familiar terrain. The mind learned to stay steady within difficulty. This steadiness created confidence, not arrogance. The knowledge that one could endure, adapt, and continue forward quietly reshaped identity. By listening to what hardship revealed, stagnation dissolved. Progress resumed, not through force, but through understanding. Mindfulness was never meant to escape life. It was meant to meet it fully. In the ancient understanding, awareness was rooted in the body, the breath, and the moment unfolding now. Thought was observed, not followed. Memory was respected, not inhabited. The present became the only place where clarity could exist. Masters of life trained themselves to stand where their feet were. When the mind drifted into regret, attention returned gently to what was happening. When it rushed ahead into worry, it was guided back again. This return was practiced countless times, not as force, but as discipline. Over time, presence stopped feeling intentional. It became natural. The past held lessons, not identity. Mistakes were examined without self-punishment. Successes were remembered without attachment. By releasing emotional weight from memory, the mind remained light. History informed action, but did not dictate it. The present moment was allowed to remain clean. The future was approached with care. Planning existed, but obsession did not. Intention was set, effort applied, and then attention returned to the current task. Anxiety faded when the mind stopped living ahead of itself. Trust replaced tension. Mindfulness revealed subtle details. Breath lengthened, muscles softened, perception sharpened. Small actions gained depth. Eating, walking, training. Each became complete in itself. This fullness dissolved restlessness. The need to rush weakened. Ancient perspectives taught that a divided mind suffers. When awareness is scattered between what was and what might be, peace becomes unreachable. By anchoring attention in the present, stability formed. From this stability, wise action emerged naturally. Grounded awareness did not remove difficulty, but it prevented confusion. Each moment was met as it was, without distortion. In this simplicity, mastery took shape, quietly and steadily. Excess was never a sign of abundance on the ancient path. It was a sign of imbalance. Shaolin wisdom viewed clutter not only as physical accumulation, but as mental noise. Too many desires pulled the mind apart. Too many commitments weakened attention. Simplicity restored unity. In the monastery, surroundings were minimal by design. Not to deprive, but to clarify. With fewer objects, fewer choices remained. With fewer choices, the mind settled. Energy once scattered across endless options returned inward. This return strengthened awareness. Simplicity in thought required discipline. When the mind chased unnecessary worries or imagined outcomes, attention was guided back to what mattered. The essential was protected. Everything else was questioned. Over time, thought patterns became cleaner. Decisions became quicker, not from haste, but from clarity. Desire was refined, not suppressed. Wanting less did not diminish life. It deepened it. When desire narrowed, appreciation expanded. A single task received full presence. A single breath carried weight. Meaning emerged through focus. Action also changed. Movements became direct. Speech became measured. There was no need to impress or rush. By removing excess effort, efficiency increased. Strength expressed itself quietly, without waste. Ancient teachings understood that power grows where attention remains undivided. Distraction dilutes force. Simplicity concentrates it. Like water flowing through a narrow channel, focus gained momentum. As distractions fell away, something unexpected appeared. Peace. Not from having more, but from needing less. What remained felt grounded and sufficient. In this space, mastery matured. The mind moved less, yet accomplished more. Strength without compassion is fragile. In the ancient path, power was never measured by the ability to dominate, but by the ability to act with precision and care. Shaolin teachings insisted that true mastery required both firmness and kindness, a balance cultivated over years of disciplined practice. Force alone achieves little. Intention guided by moral clarity achieves everything. In the monastery, students observed this balance daily. When conflict arose, action was measured. The strong did not strike out of anger. They struck to protect, to maintain harmony, or to correct imbalance. Harshness without purpose was considered weakness, for it revealed a mind ruled by ego rather than wisdom. Restraint became the mark of strength. Patience became the measure of courage. Kindness was equally rigorous. It was not soft or indulgent, but deliberate. Offering guidance, support, or protection required awareness and judgment. To uplift another without seeking recognition demanded the greatest discipline. Each act of care was intentional, free from attachment, and without the shadow of pride. In this way, power became invisible to those who lacked insight, yet unmistakable to those who understood its origin. History and legend are filled with examples of warriors whose cruelty was mistaken for greatness. Shaolin philosophy rejected this notion entirely. True mastery grows quietly. It manifests as calm authority, a presence that steadies others rather than instills fear. The mind that practices balance becomes a refuge, not a battlefield. Through consistent training, observation, and reflection, the practitioner learns when to act firmly and when to yield with grace. Strength gains purpose, compassion gains clarity. The result is not only personal mastery, but the ability to influence the world subtly, yet profoundly. Power grounded in wisdom and tempered with kindness endures far longer than power rooted in fear or aggression. Motivation is fleeting, a spark that flares and fades with the winds of circumstance. In the Shaolin path, it was never relied upon. True mastery arises from steady effort, from the quiet commitment to practice regardless of mood or reward. Discipline becomes the river that carves mountains, small and constant, relentless yet invisible. In the training halls, the same movements were repeated day after day. Hands struck the same forms, feet followed the same steps. At first, the mind questioned the repetition. The body resisted. Progress seemed slow, almost non-existent. Yet each repetition layered strength, focus, and awareness. What appeared invisible was quietly transforming the practitioner. Small actions compounded over time. Attention to posture, to breath, to balance these details, repeated consistently, became automatic. Energy that once scattered in moments of distraction now moved deliberately. Each task completed with care strengthened the foundation of mind and body alike. The effect was subtle, often unnoticed by the world, yet undeniable to those who practiced it. Men who master life understand that waiting for inspiration is a trap. Life does not pause for readiness. Success does not bow to desire. Instead, mastery is cultivated through persistence, through showing up every day, even when the heart rebels. This steady rhythm shapes character, refines judgment, and builds resilience that endures under pressure. Ancient teachers emphasized patience because the results of consistent effort are rarely immediate. Like water shaping stone over centuries, the impact is gradual, almost imperceptible, yet unstoppable. Quiet progress lays the groundwork for achievements that appear sudden only to those who did not witness the long path behind them. Discipline outlasts excitement. Small, deliberate acts, repeated over time, are stronger than grand gestures fueled by emotion. In this constancy, the mind learns to endure, the body learns to perform, and mastery emerges naturally, solid and unwavering, beyond the reach of fleeting feeling. Clinging to outcomes is a quiet form of suffering. The mind becomes restless, measuring every action against an imagined reward or feared failure. Shaolin philosophy observed this early. The obsession with result clouds perception, distorts effort, and steals peace. The path is not built on expectation, but on dedicated practice. In the monastery, students were reminded daily that mastery is in the doing, not in the applause. Each movement, each form, each breath taken in training was an opportunity to cultivate presence. Success was measured by the quality of effort, not by external recognition. When the focus shifted from achieving to practicing, tension dissolved naturally. The mind no longer raced ahead or clung behind. It rested in the flow of the present moment. Attachment to outcomes invites fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of insignificance. These fears weaken the spirit and scatter attention. When effort alone becomes the compass, the mind steadies, the body aligns. Each repetition becomes a meditation, each challenge an invitation to deepen skill and awareness. The journey itself becomes the teacher. Ancient wisdom recognized that life cannot be fully controlled. External events are unpredictable, circumstances change, and results are never guaranteed. Yet, the process, the disciplined, mindful practice is always within reach. By immersing fully in effort, a practitioner finds satisfaction not in achievement, but in the refinement of self. This perspective transforms struggle. Obstacles are no longer enemies but lessons. Slow progress is celebrated quietly because it signals growth, not failure. The heart rests in commitment rather than expectation. Mastery, once seen as a distant peak, becomes an unfolding path. Peace emerges naturally when the mind releases the need for certainty, embracing the rhythm of deliberate, patient, and focused action. The wisdom of a lifetime is quiet, subtle, and earned through consistent practice. It is found not in fleeting victories or outward success, but in the daily cultivation of discipline, stillness, and self-awareness. Those who master life understand that true power begins within, and that peace emerges naturally when the mind is refined and present. By embracing these principles, remaining calm in challenge, acting with intention, and observing without attachment, anyone can begin to transform the ordinary moments of life into opportunities for growth and clarity. Let these lessons guide your steps, shape your thoughts, and steady your spirit. Slowly, moment by moment, mastery becomes a lived experience, and inner strength becomes effortless. If you feel inspired to deepen your journey, like this video and subscribe to the Limitless Shaolin, where the path of presence, discipline, and timeless wisdom continues. May each day bring you calm, clarity, and quiet strength.